Okay, it is 6:27 p.m. on July 13th, 2020. I'm Robert Burke. Welcome to the July 13th meeting of the Woodbridge Board of Police Commissioners. We are all appearing by Zoom. Commissioner Falsigno is appearing by speakerphone due to technical difficulties. First item on the agenda is the minutes from June 9th of 2020.
Do you have to do that roll call thing again?
I guess we could do the roll call. Dr. Desir?
Here.
Dr. Freed?
Here.
Commissioner Falsigno?
Yes.
He said here, and with us is Joseph Crisco, and Chief Cappiello. Is there a motion to approve the June 9th, 2020 minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? Steve, was that you?
Yeah.
Did you move or second?
I just want to move, but I can second.
Okay.
I'll do either.
All right. Steve moved. Dr. DeFried seconded. Any discussion, corrections, modifications, additions? All those in favor? I see everyone's hands, and Steve said aye. Moving on to the public comments, correspondence. Janice, is there any correspondence from the public?
There is not.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to be heard? The only member of the public I see is WGA TV. Moving on to the financial report.
Okay, for the financial report, the finance department is obviously working on closing out and doing their auditing of the fiscal year 1920 that just ended. But I'm confident that we finish out the past fiscal year, remaining within budget. And currently, we're only 2 weeks or so into the new fiscal year. So at this point, most of the expenditures that we had so far are contractor-related stipends that went out in mandatory operational requirements such as annual dues, contracts, encumbrances, and running purchase orders. There was just under the financial report, just a follow-up to Commissioner Esposito had asked at last month's meeting for some clarification from finance regarding reimbursement for COVID-19 related expenses that we incurred. And I did discuss that with Tony Genovese, the finance director, and he confirmed that the town anticipates 100% reimbursement for those expenses associated with overtime and supplies, and that was going to be received in the ratio of 75% reimbursement from FEMA and 25% from the state of Connecticut. So 100% refundable on that.
Do any commissioners have any questions? Steve?
No.
Dr. Freed?
No questions.
Dr. Sear?
No questions.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a second. There's a motion by Dr. Freed, a second by Dr. Sear. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Dr. Sear, I can't see you.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
That's okay. Okay, I got another. So 3 hands and Mr. Falsigno. The activity report.
And just following up on as far as traffic goes and traffic enforcement, as you notice, I'm sure it's been through the last several months, it's been on the low side, and that's all in correlation with the precautions being taken statewide and across the country associated with the health crisis that's going on and social distancing or distancing protocols to maintain health and safety of not only the officers and of the public. So it's there's not really too much to say about.
Enforcement was up because not a lot of people were driving, right?
Right, not a lot of people are driving, but we're still trying to enforce it or be deterrent by continuing to doing the assigning details. So there's a presence there at certain times and certain locations to curtail that, and serves a still continue with that deterrent effect. And then moving on to the criminal. So going forward back into excuse me just for 1 second. I have it. Back into the criminal report, you can see that we had a few different calls. And
Stuff together. Open that up.
Yeah, here we go. That we had some burglaries in Johnson Road, Litchfield Turnpike that we discussed previously, and then going forward on the burglaries, we had a couple different burglaries on Litchfield Turnpike in the business area that ended up being solved by the Detective Bureau. Two of them were to storage areas, and one was to a catering business where refrigeration area was entered, and they were able to get video surveillance on all those and have arrest warrants pending on those. We did have the robbery assault at the convenience gas station on Litchfield Turnpike, and that ended up being a collaborative effort with New Haven PD, the Emden PD, and Woodbridge PD, and they have an arrest warrant pending for that. The suspects involved with that as well, and that they were on a spree that involves multiple stolen cars in those 3 towns that I mentioned over a course of 24 hours. So moving forward, they've had that, and our stolen cars have gone down somewhat from where we were before that. As far as the same with the tampering with the cars and entering the vehicles for the last month, it was not as frequent as it had been prior to that. But overall, calls were down somewhat during the last month from what was reported previously.
Any questions?
I just have a question. Fingerprints for pistol permits were as many in this month as there were practically for all of 6 months last year. So is that just some?
Yeah. So what happened?
happens?
What happened with that was during the at the start of the pandemic, fingerprints were suspended statewide, and the state wasn't even accepting them. And so we just got back into that recently in the last few weeks. And the good thing with that is that that did give the state a little bit of time to catch up because they were backlogged before. So when they stopped getting them, they were able to catch up. And so now the ones that are getting processed are moving through a lot more rapidly than they did prior to that.
So this had nothing to do with more pistols being requested or something during COVID. This was just
No, it's just a catch up now that people are finally able to come in. They've been requesting the ability to do so, and so that's all taking place now. Yep. So we're kind of swamped with that.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
What is internal function and why is it so much more than last year?
Internal functions could be for a variety of different reasons. It's just things that we have going on inside. People, sometimes it could be training that we're doing inside. We've been doing a lot more things internally because they haven't been available outside of the agency. So it's just things that are done in-house, and people are called inside to do things or sent on different tasks that don't fall into all those other criteria that are listed.
Anyone else? So motion to approve the activity report.
Moved.
Dr. Freed, is there a second?
Second,
Dr. DeSier. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yeah.
I see Dr.
Just so you know,
Freed. Commissioner Falsigno said
I'll approve.
he approves.
I'll say yes, but just so you know, it's very hard for me to understand, though I know it's no fault because I'm on a speakerphone, but if I have any questions, I guess any further questions, I guess I'll call the chief or something directly or whatever.
Okay, Dr. DeSier, I don't have your vote.
hold on.
Okay, there we go. We got everyone. Chief, your report now.
Okay, the first topic I had was an update on the school resource officers. So when the schools closed back in March due to the pandemic, both of our SROs returned and they were put back into patrol. And at Beecher, additionally at Beecher, they closed March 13th. They also canceled, as we all know, the summer school programs as well as the Woodbridge Rec in-person day camp. They're doing that virtually now. So both Officer Sapione and Officer Lynch have been with us since March, and they're continuing with their regular patrol shifts. And that's where they'll remain through the end of August when they return to their respective schools. So that's worked out really well, as far as staffing goes for us. And just on the topic of the school resource officers, myself and Commissioner Freed are participating in the Woodbridge Board of Ed ad hoc SRO security committee that the Board of Ed recently organized. And the first meeting of the group was held last week. I participated in the same type of committee back in 2017 when we addressed the topic as well. And after that meeting, the consensus was that the school resource officer would stay in place as he has up through now. So we'll see what comes out of this meeting. The climate right now, I think, is a lot much more different than it was then. There are a lot of factors that'll impact what the future holds, and the decisions to be made as far as the SRO goes at Beecher Road School. Economically, there's the budget concerns that we're all familiar with. On the police department side, we have I know I have the staffing concern, being reduced a little bit further by 2. While these guys have been here for the last 5 months now, but come the end of August, when they go back, we'll be short those 2 in addition to the 2 positions that we don't have any longer. And just in general, I guess, in the community and across the nation, there's so much uncertainty now with the coronavirus, what's going on with school, the reopening, how that's going to play out, and all the other turmoil and unrest that's going on nationwide. So we'll certainly, Commissioner Freed and myself will keep you posted at the next meeting of the progress of that committee that has just begun. And then the other topic I had is just applies to out-of-state travel quarantines for the employees. So as I'm sure you all know, on June 25th, the governor issued an executive order requiring a 14-day self-quarantine for travelers who return from out of state, and from any states that are experiencing the high coronavirus infection rates. I think that was just updated the other day it's up to 19 states that are impacted with that. So over the past week or so, we had 2 employees who did travel to Florida. And while they were there, while they were away, that state was added to the list of those that were impacted. So it required their self-quarantine upon return to Connecticut. So we're down to 2 officers for 2 staff members for 14 days while they're in self-quarantine. So just wanted to make you aware of that.
Right, just so for the benefit of the commissioners, that 2-week quarantine is paid leave.
That makes sense.
It's a combination of use of sick time and reimbursement. But yes, they're
Why would
paid.
they have to use
It's
sick
without
time
leave.
for that? That doesn't sound quite right.
That's decision that was made on the town side and human resources side.
Have you contemplated issuing any orders going forward about travel to those areas that are now known to have quarantine? I mean, it seems like now people are on notice. So to take a 2-week vacation and then go to a place that you know is on quarantine, you get a month off.
Right. Yeah. Well, I actually came out with a memo when that happened, and so put everybody on notice that they would, if they did go to a place like that was already impacted and they're aware of, that it would fall into that. I think the problem we ran to this, or the sticking point with that, is when you go to a state that has not yet been declared, and while you're already away,
Right.
it's happening. So that's where we're at with that.
Okay.
So to clarify, if someone were to travel now to one of the 19 states that's known to be where you have to be quarantined when you return, their quarantine is without pay. Is that correct?
They would be using accrued sick time or vacation time.
Mm.
Or they could take it unpaid if they want, but they'd have that option if they did travel. But they would have to self-quarantine. They wouldn't be allowed back to work.
So Steve had asked me to explain what you said because you said it was muffled. From now going forward, the chief issued a rule that if you go to a place that is quarantined, and chief, correct me if I'm wrong, that you'll have to utilize either, I guess, accrued vacation time or sick time for that period of quarantine.
And what about the people that knowingly went report? Did they knowingly go recently?
Well, he said that the quarantine was not known before they left. The quarantine was not known before they left of those places.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about that?
Well, so that's the new policy going forward?
Yes, that's the new policy going forward, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And if you go to if you happen to travel be away to a state that gets impacted while you're there, that would be addressed on a case-to-case basis. And that's all I have for my reports.
Is there a motion to approve the report of the chief?
No.
Second,
Dr. Reed
second,
moved, Dr. Sear seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
yes, I'm in favor.
Dr. Sear's in favor. Commissioner Felsegno?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Final item on the agenda, the personnel matters.
Just two quick things. One of them, I'd just like to make the board aware that we will have one officer who will be utilizing family medical leave to take care of a family member from July 17th through July 31st. So we'll be short, a little bit short with one person then. And then the second topic, it's a request to carry over vacation time, and it's from me. That due to my job responsibilities, and then we got hit with the coronavirus in March, and from the protests after that, and now the deputy chief's been on vacation, and we're dealing with a quarantine period associated with that for a couple more weeks. So I'm kind of solo here. So I just asked the board for permission to carry over 18 vacation days because I won't be able to use them before my anniversary date of August 17th. That's coming up.
So I move that the chief be allowed to carry over unused vacation time from this fiscal year.
Anyone second that? Dr. Fried seconded. Steve, what'd you say? Steve, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, can you tell me what the chief was talking about with that?
Yes, he wants to, for himself, he wants to carry over vacation time that he was unable to use because of COVID. Ray is away on vacation, and it was one of the reasons. I don't remember. Okay. All those in favor?
Okay, yes,
Okay. So I heard Dr. Sear. I saw Dr. Fried. And Commissioner Felsegno. Did you say yes? He said yes. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn the police commission meeting?
I move we adjourn the police commission meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Dr. Seer moved, Dr. Freed. Thank you all. Moving on to the Woodbridge Traffic Authority. Is there any correspondence from the public, Janice?
No, there is not.
With regard to public comments, I'm looking at the list of participants. There are no public participants aside from WGA-TV. There are 2 traffic matters, research drive and the DOT project.
So the first one is we received a request from the owner of a business located at 11 Research Drive. Is called Ear Temple Arts. And it's a studio that offers classes in aerial dance, circus, and movement classes for teens and adults. And they're looking to use the cul-de-sac down at the end of Research Drive for an outdoor fundraising show and performance by their students and staff. And they want to do so on a Saturday evening. They're looking for the date of August 15th from approximately 6 to 8 p.m. for 2 hours. And they plan to set up a portable aerial rig down the cul-de-sac for the students to perform on with the stage. And they're going to have seating on the grass, and they expect maybe 100 people, if that. And they've gotten permission from the property and business owners that surround there to use their parking lots in the grass areas so that they could ensure social distancing and seating in proper fashion for their audience members. The businesses down there all closed, and they said they'd be more than happy to provide a certificate of insurance to the town if needed. So because it's kind of a unique event, we're usually accustomed to granting permission to use the road for a road race or something to that nature. So I reached out to the town council just for his perspective to see if there's any concerns on the town side. And Jerry also, Jerry Weiner reviewed the request, and he said he had no problem with the traffic authority approving it if they decided to do so. And then once that step is taken, he'll bring it up before the Board of Selectmen with Beth. And if the Board of Selectmen have any other concerns or additional requests, they'll take that up with the business at their meeting. So I can just say the owner's been very thorough with her coordination. She has a couple other dates for potential rain dates, those being on the weekend of Sunday, August 16th and Saturday, August 22nd. So like I said, it's a weekend and the businesses are closed on there. There's limited traffic. And so I just presented to the board for your consideration.
Frank, are they getting event insurance for this?
They would just, not through us, not of us, the town wants it, but they said that they would produce a certificate of insurance and present that to the town and anything else that town council would want.
I personally don't have a problem with it. I'd prefer them to do it with presentation of insurance certificate for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. She said she would. So
does anyone have an issue with that?
That makes sense, the insurance edition. That sounds smart.
Is there a motion to approve the use of the Research Drive cul-de-sac, provided they provide certificate of insurance? Dr. Freed? Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Felsigno seconded. All those in favor? I see Dr. Freed. I'm in favor. I see Dr. Zier waving. And Commissioner Felsigno, do you approve that?
Yep.
Okay. Noting no other items on the agenda, is there a motion to adjourn the Woodbridge Traffic? Oh, wait.
There was just the one more item on there.
I'm sorry. DOT. I jumped the gun.
Yeah, so just quickly, just a quick update on the Route 69, Exit 59, Route 15 project. As you probably noticed, they're in the process of wrapping up their work on Lower 69 there. They've completed the road construction, the milling, the repaving. They're just doing some final cosmetic work and painting. It should be finished any day now. The DOT is trying to gauge the effectiveness of it, but it's been challenging for them so far because of significantly decreased traffic volumes that they've reported. But us here at the PD and everyone, I'm sure, that travels there are hopefully anticipating that the work that was done and the changes that were made will serve to provide some relief to the traffic congestion in the area. Last week, I participated in a meeting with Connecticut DOT, along with representatives from the city of New Haven and also from the town, at which point the DOT shared some future plans that they have for the area down there. So just to make the traffic authority aware of that, they're looking for some future safety and operational improvements. And the things that they're planning to do are construction of acceleration and deceleration lanes on Route 15, both directions, north and southbound. And they're looking to construct an entire new ramp, loop type ramp on Route 69 leading to Route 15 northbound. And that project will be really intensive because it's going to involve widening the bridges, the overpasses, where the parkway crosses over 69, and then also over to the right there on Amity Road. And with that, they also plan to do some pedestrian and crosswalk improvements that come forward. And as far as the time frame on that, they're hoping to have funding source in place, they said, by the end of 2020 this year. And they said the design duration is a period of 3+ years. So that's going to be something on the horizon forthcoming. But hopefully what they've done down there just recently will give us some relief, as I said. And that's just a quick update on DOT project down there. And that's that was the last thing on the for the traffic authority.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Moved by Commissioner Falsigno, seconded by Dr. Freed. All those in favor? I see Dr. Freed. I now see Dr. Sear and Commissioner Falsigno. He says yes. Thank you all. Thank you for your patience. Be safe. Good night.
Okay,
Stay well,
good night. Thank you.
everybody.